Hello friends, welcome back to Abba Joseph's channel. Today we are going to be doing deployment, something that I'm really excited about. So if you've not subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and let's get started. Alright, some time ago I recorded this video on how to build full web application in Go, and then one of my subscribers left a comment asking how to deploy this application. So this video I'm recording is my response to that question. Today we are going to be deploying it. As you can see, it's a really functional application. I'm currently running it on my local system. You can sign up, sign in, submit post, do some cool stuff. So if you haven't watched the video and you're interested in learning how to build this application from scratch, sure, you can go watch the video. I'm going to leave a link to the video in this new video's description. All right, so let's see what we're going to do here. Now, in order to deploy an application, you need a server. That's really important. I think that is the most important thing. So we're going to first prepare the server, make sure we can log in using SSH. This is a crucial part. Install the dependencies, copy all our assets to the server, and then we can try to start the server manually. And then that's it. Then I plan a bonus path. All right. So before we even think of deploying this application, let's try to understand what it does. So when I open main.go, which is this file you're looking at, I think you see we have a migration. So basically we have dependency on the database, which is Postgres. Don't worry, we are not going to use this hard-coded string. We are going to be passing the command line argument of DSN. And I think for this application, the dependencies are quite few, so you don't even need to think about them too much. All right. So, of course, it's important that we also run the migration and all that. Okay, so let's look at something else here. Every internet application follows almost the same approach. You are going to need a domain name, you are going to need a server, you are going to install your dependencies, and then you connect them together. So for us, we are going to, let's say as an example, a user goes to test.com, and then the DNS here is going to resolve our IP address based on this domain. And then the browser is going to start sending, using that IP address, start sending HTTP request. Of course, that is also based on like socket connection to the server on a particular port. The port part is very important. And then on the server, we are going to have Caddy. I chose Caddy for a reason because Caddy gives you a free TLS certificate, which I think is really important. But you can use Nginx, Apache. They all provide a way for you to do a proxy, right? Then the request goes to our server, goes on a particular port. In this case, is Caddy listing on port 80 and 443. And then we need to configure Caddy in a way that instructs Caddy to forward the request to our application on a particular port. If you are getting a little bit confused, I just want you to slow down for a minute and think about it this way. We get a request from our user. The request goes to Caddy, which is installed on the server, and Caddy forward that request to our application internally. Our application processes the request, respond back to Caddy, and Caddy is going to respond back to the user. That is a simple step that we have to take. Now, if you go to the deployment steps that we have here, the first thing we need is the server itself. So let's go to DigitalOcean and create one server. The process of creating a server on DigitalOcean is not free. It costs money, so you have to be careful about it. If you are going to use this to follow the video, I want to encourage you, as soon as you're done, you should try to delete them. I'm going to do that as well. Immediately I'm done recording the video, I'm going to delete everything I've created here. I'll start by clicking on create droplet, or you can come up here and click droplets. As you can see, you can choose to put your droplets anywhere. I don't really care, but I'm going to put it in Amsterdam. The Ubuntu, I'm going to leave everything with this default value, Ubuntu 23.10. I'm going to try to choose the cheapest box. This is $4 monthly. Here, I'm going to have to add an SSH key. So in order to generate an SSH key, you see, you have this instruction. So I'm going to copy the instruction, come to my terminal. So this is my terminal. If you don't want to use the terminal of your IDE, you can use the terminal on your machine. If you are on Windows, you want to use something like Git Bash. Let me create a folder called keys and then change into that folder, and I put that command that we copied from DigitalOcean, ssh-keygen. I'll just press enter, and I'm going to call it hnews. Basically, keep pressing enter until the last step, and then ls. You see, we have the private key and the public key. Now I need to copy the public key by, I'm just going to, you can open it in the text editor or just to cut and the public key. This is what it is. I'm going to copy it. I'll paste the public key. It's important. This is the public key, not the private key. So I'm going to say hnews deployment key. Add. So this is the key selected now. After that, I'm just going to leave. Maybe we can give it hnews demo server 001, something like this. I'm going to leave everything as it is. Create droplets. All right, our droplet is ready. The droplet creation process sometimes takes about a minute or two, so you need to be patient with it, please. All right. Now that we have our droplets, we can go to the checklist. You see, prepare a server. All right, so we need to mark this as done. And make sure you can log in into the server. That is the next step. So let's go back to DigitalOcean. This is our droplet. You can click on it. When you click on it, you see like some statistics here. All right, this is the most important thing for us right now, the public IP address. This is an internal IP address where we don't need that at the moment. With that, I'm going to my terminal. I will come here and say SSH root this way. Remember, we already have our keys there, so let me remove this command and check something. So we are in I want to go back out. This is the main application directory. So SSH root, and then you put the IP address, but what we need to specify the key. This time around, you are going to specify the private key, but please do not display the private key by even accidentally, don't display it. I'm always going to pass the I flag, and I will say keys/hnews. So remember, this is the folder that we put the key, right? Let's go in and see. I just press enter key. I'm going to type yes to add the signature, and then we're logging into the server. So that step 2 is done. Install dependencies. Installing dependencies, so we need to install Postgres and Caddy, right? And maybe we need to create a user as well. So let me go to have a script here. First of all, I'm going to set all the script I'll be executing here. I'm going to leave the script in the repository. So I will set the language to English US and then UTF-8. But in time zone, I always like to use Lagos, Nigeria. Basically, at this moment, you're going to take the commands one by one and paste them. Let's create a new user called hnews. This is the user that we are going to use to run the application. In order for us to be able to SSH using this user, I'm going to copy the root SSH to discuss to this user as well. All right. Now, when I do, let's say ls, and I put home/hnews.ssh, you see, we have this authorization, which is, so let me check the, if we want, we can go into that. And I cat, you see the public key that we added is there. All right, that's good. I'm going to skip the firewall for now. Next is Postgres. Let's install Postgres. Now that we have Postgres installed, let's create a database for our application. We also need to create a role and a user. All right. Now with this database, role and user, we need to, let me do something here. Let me open the application itself. I'm going to put this path here in that script. All right, here. All right, so hope we're not making any mistake. Basically, we are going to put this in, put this string to create an environmental variable. I want to be able to, for instance, type this and have this string. So this is our connection string to Postgres. Right, that is done. Next is, we have Postgres installed now. Next is Caddy. For Caddy, actually, we can go to the Caddy website and, of course, this is a beautiful website. If you go to documentation, install, just choose Ubuntu. This is the same instruction that we have in that my script. So you can copy it from there. In short, I encourage you now. You see, our SSH just time out. So I just press the arrow up to try and relog in. For Caddy, I want to encourage you to go to the Caddy website and try to install from there in case anything, maybe something might have changed. Finally, install Caddy. Now, it's important to mention that what we are installing here very relative to our application. Your requirements might be different. So whatever your application needs, those are the things that you need to install. You don't need to install the exact same thing I'm installing. But if you are deploying this same application as a way to follow the video, then yes, you have to install everything that I'm installing. All right, we have Caddy, we have Postgres. That means we can mark this as okay. Next step is to copy assets. In order to copy assets, which basically means copying files to the server, let's see what we need to copy. We need to copy the compiled binary. If I open make, we went to open on the side, which is okay. When I open make, you see we have a build. So we are building for Linux and all that. In here, I also have prepared a target. Let me expand it so you can see it very. I'm going to exit the server now. We are going to use this rsync to copy everything to the server. So basically what I'm going to do is I will put the server IP address. This is the server IP address here. This is the user. And that's it. We're going to use that to copy migrations, the binary that we just compiled. I'm going to show you this web service file and Caddy file now. Web.service. So what does this web.service, what does it do? When you, for example, let's look at this. This is the Go application. If we want, we can run the application this way on the server, and that's fine. It continues to run. But imagine when your system restarts, or maybe the application crash and it needs to restart automatically. How do you do that? That's exactly what this service script does. So we are going to register it with the system service, and the system service takes care of restarting it and helping us monitor the life cycle of the of our application. This is, for me, the most important aspect of this whole video: the ability to create the service script and use it to manage the life cycle of our application. If you look at the service script, it has nothing special. I just have a description, the user that we created, and we appoint this environmental variable is going to be loaded so our application can have access to. Remember, we created this environmental variable, and we are saying our application is going to, so this is how we are starting our application, that is going to listing on port 8000 and all that. So it's very straightforward, and that's it. Now that we have the IP address, I also have all the commands that I want to use to copy the files. So basically, it's the same command I just duplicated. Copy this folder, copy this binary, copy web.service and Caddy file to our home directory on the server. The Caddy file is the simplest thing I've ever seen. You provide an email address for your TLS certificate, then you provide a domain name that you want to use. Then you say reverse proxy, you put a domain. This is localhost, your internal domain, and the port. We remember we said our application is going to listing on port 8000, and that's it. So when Caddy receives the request on this domain, Caddy is going to forward that request to our application on this address. And this is it. When our application is done, our Caddy is also going to get the response and give the response to the user. So that's it. Let's attempt the copy and see. So I'll write make deploy. So you see, we echo this, we're copying this first one, it's copied. We're waiting for everything to copy. All right, we've copied everything to the server. So far, if you are, I don't want you to be confused. So what we've done, we've prepared the server, we've added our keys, installed the dependencies. So we install Postgres and Caddy. Now we are copying the files that we need to the server. All right. So let's go in, logging into the server now. I'm going to just press up. So this was the command that we used to log in. Now that we are in the server, I want to go to the home directory of hnews, and we should see all the files that we've copied here. We've copied the assets, so we can mark everything here done. When you're doing anything like this, you always want to have like a checklist like this. How about we try to start the application and see what happens? First, I'm going to write just .web. No, I won't pass any argument. I just try to start it. See, it's a connection refused. That means it's trying to connect to Postgres on this port. Okay. How about, remember we can pass the DSN. Let's do that. Web DSN equals. Basically, in the service file, we have the command that we want to run. So this is the command. How about we pass something like this? Okay, so we pass this command and this port, but also the hosts. I like to change the host to host, which is equal to, let's put this 0.0 main any IP address and see what happens. So it looks like our application is listening. So it's time to go to the IP address. Let me go to the browser. This is the IP address port 8000. All right, internal server error. Great, it looks like it crashed. Let's look at the error. It says relation post does not exist. Okay, so I'm going to stop the server myself. I just press arrow up to bring back the command. Remember, we can run migration. So let's attempt to run migration. Where is the command migrate equals true? Okay, now we have another error. Says permission denied for schema public. This error, I don't know let's look at this error is quite new. Our connection just dropped. I had to log in again. This error is quite new. The old version of Postgres doesn't give this error. So I went to, let's open the application. I went to this Stack Overflow, and there was a lot of suggestions on how to get rid of this error. So I'm going to run this one and see what happens. In case you run into any error with Postgres 15, it's important you can do this. First, especially when you type PSQL and you get an error like this, or I use the user is Postgres. This is just something, and you get an error instead of this prompt. Let me exit. You go to cd etc PostgreSQL 15 main. This is the path where the configuration is stored. And you want to open this file, this pq_hba. You want to open it by using nano or vim, anything you want to use. And I will just move down. I'm looking for the Postgres user, which is this one. Here, this trust, you're probably going to see something like pair, so you should change it to trust. And you run the service PostgreSQL restart, something like this. To restart, after then, you should be able to type PSQL. Now, that is one. Second, if you run into another error when you try to, the permission denied error, when you try to run the migration, you need to come and run this. Basically, you run, let's copy this out. Okay, we just broke the pipe, so I need to relog in. You run PSQL. This is going to put you, run PSQL capital letter U Postgres. So you are now logged in into Postgres shell as a Postgres admin user. You paste this command and then you change it to hnews, because we created a user and a database with the same name. So you have, and then you run this command. I've done it already, so I won't do it again. Right, that you should be fine. After that, you can go to home hnews/home, right? And then you put this is the binary. Our binary is there already. So you put this command, migrate. Let me type it very well. This is the command line argument. Migrate equals true. And these ports and other things are actually not important for this migration. I'll just press enter key. We're definitely missing something here. So the web, I need to prefix it like this. As you can see, done running migration, and then for the service is listening here, but it's currently listening on the local host, this one. So I'm going to stop it. I won't run the migration again. You only need to run the migration once. And then I'm going to say host equals 0.0.0.0. This one is going to allow us to access it from the internet. We come here now. Voila. Welcome to our website on the internet. So we are in the public IP address and the port 8000. And this is the application. We need to map the domain. We need to set up the service so it can auto restart. So let's go ahead and do that. In order to set up the application to run as a service, we need to move the web.service to this path. We need to then we enable it. We also need to move the Caddy file and then we run this reload. But before I do this path, I just want to map the domain. So I'm going to come here. This is DigitalOcean. I'm going to come to networking. If you are using Amazon, this will be route, I think route 53, right? Domains. So my domain is already here. If you have your own new domain, you can put it here. Let's say different domain, and then you add it. It will show up here. So I'll click on the domain. I'm going to put @ here, which is, well, since we are using the dev, let's look at the domain name we are using, the deployment script. So Caddy. So this is dev.abajoseph.com. So this one. And then we see that I'm creating an A name. So this is really important. If you want to do a subdomain, you can use C name like www, but we need the A name because we want to point it to an IP address. So I'm putting dev here. I'm going to reduce the time to live to something like this, create, and this is it. So we have our domain mapped. Let's try to access it and see what happens. Nothing. All right. So let's go back now. I'm going to open this deploy.sh. These are the way we need to configure the service. So look at where we are. I don't know why the SSH keep dropping. Probably has something to do with my firewall, this proxy thing that I have installed on my computer. So I need to change to that directory again. As you can see, we have the web.service here, and we have the Caddy file here. So first thing is to move, right? We moved it. We're going to enable the service, okay? No errors. We're going to attempt to restart it, okay? No errors. We're going to move the Caddy file, and we're going to reload Caddy, okay? Does that mean everything is now working? Let's reload, okay? We have issue with the SSL. I'm going to go into the main Caddy file. I think it's having problem with this. So let me give it the, oh yeah, we see the problem. The domain is wrong. Okay. Time to reload it. And let's give it a minute. Great. Fix the domain. Website is up and running. The next thing I want to check is to restart the server. So reboot, that's a command, reboot. So we are rebooting the server now. It shouldn't browse anymore. Look at, it's just rolling. After a while, it's going to time out. Right, it's just rolling. And we're waiting for the server to restart. All right, you see, it's no longer going. Okay, our server is back up and the service is working. The restart process is really working. Recap, you can, let's look at what we did. This one, I'm going to close this part so that we can. So this is what we did. We prepared the server online. We log in via SSH, we install our dependencies and do all the troubleshooting. We copy the asset and the service script. We assess it manually, and then we did the testing and everything. I think everything went really smooth. The only challenges we had was Postgres access denied error, which I mentioned already how to fix that. And also we, in the Caddy file, we got the domain wrong. So the domain was supposed to be abajoseph.tech, but I put .com, so we got it wrong. Aside from that, every other thing, then if you want to fix the cookie thing, like I said, this does not fix it. What we did here didn't fix it. So definitely you need to set the domain to dev.abajoseph.com, because if you look at this host, it's actually coming from here. It's on localhost. So maybe we can take this one out for now. Domain host. I'm going to take it out and then give it a shot. Go to make, but this time around, I won't. I'm going to just comment out everything first, and I will enable this one. So let's exit, make, deploy, and we're going to compile and copy back to the server. Something just happened. All right, I'm going to do it one more time. It's copying now. Great. Done copying. Now I'm going to log in into the server and restart. Like this whole login and restart, we could have, we can just add a script here to automate that as well. So let's restart the service. Does that fix it now? Let's see. I think we can know because yes, it's working now. So we know because this error, validation error, they're using cookie sessions. So about Joseph, I can say abj@s.com, something like that. Create account created. I'm just going to log in. I'm able to log in. Beautiful. Let's submit a post. These days you can get like good news, so I'm just going to say welcome to deployment world, and of course we put a URL post. And look at this, is really beautiful. If you've been following me, or if you are new to this channel and you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It's free. Help me grow my channel, and thank you, and do have a lovely day. I have a video in the making, a tutorial for beginners in Go, complete tutorial where we are going to even build more beautiful applications. So thank you. Bye.